Wagwan, how are you doing today? What a wonderful day it is. It's Tuesday. It's a random day. And by the time I've uploaded this, it's probably past that, but we'll see. But yeah, it's at some point in 2026. And I just thought I'd film myself driving. I parked up somewhere because I just came from shopping, and yeah, I just had a feeling to make something today, just to upload a video, maybe speak about my thoughts about what I've been doing, what my plans are, and what I think the world is coming to, basically. So let's do it. I want to know what I'm like driving now, because I know how I used to be, so hopefully I can basically see if I've gotten any better. Also, I want to see if I can talk and be on camera and practice doing that while I'm driving. So hopefully that goes well, and we'll see how it goes. Let him go first, and then we'll drive off. Yay. But yeah, basically, I've been taking it easy. I've been feeling pretty low recently when it comes in terms of my creativity and what I want to do in life. And to be honest, I've been feeling pretty hungover about my plans and what I want to do based on where I am now. But I know that eventually we'll get to a point where we can do what we want to do, and it's only a matter of time. So yeah, hopefully I can start being a bit more creative. To be honest, it's been a season of healing, because it's no point preaching something when you're not living it, right? So when I was making like short films and mini documentaries on this channel beforehand, I was in a process of basically sobering up from a period where I was addicted to substances, and it kind of overtook my identity at the time, and I was just getting over the hangover phase of it. So I didn't feel very myself, shall we say. I just felt like I needed to basically have a break. So that's one of the reasons why I've been well over a year away from YouTube. It's just been something that I've wanted to kind of take on, take in stride, and I'm happy that I was able to. But now I'm ready to kind of get back into the game. I'm pretty awkward when it comes to these sort of things, when it comes to like talking about myself, and maybe I need to be a bit more creative with how I speak and what I talk about when it comes to speaking to myself, because I'm still learning what to share and what not to share. I've realised that's pretty important. I'm still getting used to London traffic, especially when cab drivers use the bus lane and then they don't use an indicator to turn in. I think that people do that, because if I could show you right now what's going on, people are all bundled up trying to go past the speed limit. But when all three lanes are being used up, there's nowhere to go. So there's no point tailgating the person in front of you to give yourself the illusion that you're going faster. And I feel like that's how a lot of people live their lives. You can tell a lot from how people are by seeing how they drive, how careful they are, how much consideration they give to their surroundings as well as themselves, you know. Because yeah, it's not just about how fast you go or how quickly you can get to your destination. It's about how you get there and how much you can live the way that you want to live, while also making sure that you don't step on other people's toes in order to get there. And there's a lot of people who want to step on other people's toes just to get to a destination that they can get to, even if they didn't have to step on anyone's toes to get there, if that makes sense. I'd rather get somewhere slowly and not step on anyone's toes than get somewhere fast and injure everyone that I meet during that process, you know. So yeah, I'm just at that stage in my life where everything we do, everything that I do specifically, I don't know about you, but everything that I do is requires a purpose. It requires a need to be aware of oneself, to be self-aware of what state you're in and where you want to go. Cat just ran past me, of course. I won't discuss what just happened, but basically someone cut in front of me in order to park, and they didn't put on the indicator until they're already in the parking space. Fantastic. These are the type of things that make my eyes go 3 times the size that it should be. But I digress. Yeah, I'm pretty self-aware of where my life is compared to what I'm being fed every day. Okay. Have you ever got the feeling that our lives have been, at least electronically, micromanaged? Like on Instagram or on Facebook, I see specific people or specific type of posts. Usually, mostly what comes up first on the timeline are things like photos of people overseas, photos of people next to the ocean, photos of people with families. And I realized, like, because my profile on Facebook, which is connected to Instagram, and are basically two of the same thing, because they're shared between each other, the data on where we live, if you've put that on the Facebook, your age, your date of birth, where you were born, all those sort of things, because they're shared and because it's being fed through AI and the algorithm, and each company that owns technology, especially social media, they all have a specific way of profiling people. And a lot of the ways that we see other people's lives, if we don't speak to them directly day to day, after work and after our errands and when we're relaxing, or even when people are driving, not parked up, not, while they're eating on the side of the road in the pavement. No. Driving and on the phone with one hand doing this. I think that's crazy. If you do that yourself, you're a numpty. You're a numpty. Sorry. I think it's absolutely abhorrent that people do that on the roads, because everything that you're being fed directly is then turned into a reflection of what your mind spends time on. Okay? So if you like something, if you like a photo of someone's life, or if you like someone's story, it's all profiled. Every single thing is profiled and then added to a percentage of what other posts you'll click on, you know? And sometimes the result that comes from what you click on or what you interact with isn't exactly it isn't exactly has connected with what you clicked on for the results to come out. For example, I clicked on someone's post about uh, riding their 2-year-old son across the park because they were taking them from school. And I put that on my timeline, I put that on my story. And after going off Instagram and after waiting for a few hours, when I went back on it, what did I see mostly come up on my timeline? Posts of of fathers and their children. Okay. So yeah, we have to think about these things, you know, about everything that we interact with, everyone we interact with, and how much we share online and what we share online as well. Because in the near future, there will come a point where AI profiles us on more than just social media, but our social score. It'll be scored. Everything that we do, everything that we interact with on a macro level basis will be categorized, you know? Digital ID. Keir Starmer, thank you very much. Well done, by the way. Because knowing that Keir Starmer is a former lawyer, I know that the future laws that will be put in place will be written and implemented in a way where it makes it very difficult for people to not comply. So we have to prepare for those sorts of scenarios in the future, okay? And again, one of the main reasons why the passion to make videos again and to kind of share my thoughts is because I've been finding God. I've been on a journey of sanctification, and it's been messy. It's been very messy sometimes. There's been times where I felt like Paul, you know, where he said that everything that I shouldn't do, I do, and everything that I should do, I don't do, you know. And sometimes we fall, and sometimes we crash. Sometimes we scrape the wall, and sometimes we trip up and bruise our knee, and other times we break a bone. And that's the way of life. It's literally the way of human life. But I think being aware of oneself and our actions is one of the main reasons that we can kind of feel our way back to God. And you may not be a Christian if you're watching this. You may not call yourself a Christian. You may be an atheist. You may be agnostic. You may even be Islam, Buddhist, Zionist. But we all have an innate system in us working over time that warns us and tells us about something before it happens or before we do something. And sometimes we ignore that because our own desire to do something overtakes the quiet, gentle prodding that we might get to go a different direction. So yeah, I think it's I think it's important for me to say that God loves you, Jesus is king, and if it wasn't for him, there were a lot of things in my own life that I wouldn't have right now. And there's a lot of times where I've went through something difficult and I've always asked myself why I'm going through this. And it's only later or after praying or reading the Bible where I find the answer. And it's very rarely when I want the answer to come, you know. I think something that's very dangerous these days is thinking that we can just wish things into existence. Or one of the most popular words of description is manifesting things into existence. It's one thing to believe that you can do something and to have the confidence in doing something, that you can achieve something or that something will happen, and praying for it to happen. But to will it in existence under our own power is impossible. I'll go one step further in saying that as well. I hope you can still hear me. It's just started raining, so it's a different type of ambience. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope it adds something to your day. God talks about, what not to do. The things that are dangerous, there's certain things that God really does have a wrath for. And one of those things is magic. Or should I say alchemy, divination, mysticism. That sort of side of things are very dangerous. And I know a lot of people who have kind of found themselves exploring those waters, either because it's worked for them and given them a sense of purpose and power over their own lives after going through something difficult, especially, or because they want to achieve something and what they've tried before hasn't gotten the desired effect or the desired direction that they wanted to go down. And so you turn to tarots and you turn to astrology, you turn to the law of attraction, you turn to uh, other things, crystal reading, palm reading, you know. And one might actually find there to be tangible success in trying those methods of energy sharing, right? And the reason why people find those results actually work sometimes, or at first, is because it does work. That's why God tells us not to do it, because it works for a bit until the price that needs to be paid gets paid at a certain point in the future. So we need to be extremely careful about where we share our energy, who we share it with, and to be prepared for our spirit to be at warfare every day. Because that's exactly what's happening right now. Not just physical warfare, not just warfare between countries and after resources and all the other chess games that are going on behind the scenes. But it's chess games in every piece of interaction and life activity that we do. They all have consequences. Everything that we do has a consequence. Every piece of energy that we share with each other has an end goal. Nothing is wasted, just transferred. So we need to be careful what we say to people, what we think about people, and be ready for anything to happen. And to not just to be positive and smile through the pain and be fake all the time, because sometimes you do need to let out how you're feeling. Otherwise it will eat you up inside, and if you end up gossiping or talking about something negative, it can really grind your gears, and you'll turn into someone who only wants to be around the people who you've decided to trust, instead of just living life around everyone. Okay, I think that's very important, and I'm speaking from experience. Okay, I'm not just, everything I'm said is not to preach to you. I'm simply speaking out of life experience, right? From what I've witnessed, from what has impacted me in the past, and from what I see happening in the future. And especially because I used to do all of those things. There's a lot of things in life that have that sort of taste. Tastes sweet at first, but then it just loses its flavor. You know, so be careful. Be careful what you spend your time on, and be careful about what you share and who you share it with. Because it's good to have people you trust and people who you can open up to and speak about life with and share your experiences with. But remember, not all thoughts that come through our head come from us, right? We all have thoughts that come into our head and we're like, "Wow, why did that come into our head?" You know, and you're like, "I didn't think like that. I didn't think anything connected to what I just thought of. How did that happen?" No, it's because it didn't come from you. So some people act on their thoughts more recklessly than you might. So be careful. It's very, very, very weird times we're living in, and it's going to get a lot weirder and a lot more difficult, a lot more challenging, a lot more exciting. Because even though we are living in the most accessible time in human history, not everyone is going to make it, unfortunately. You know, so everyone who we've lost and everyone who's entered this world is a gift, you included. You are a gift. You are made creatively and uniquely for a purpose. You may not know what that purpose is, but you'll find out eventually. And it will be quiet. It won't be loud, it'll be quiet. It will sneak up on you, and you'll be changed. And you'll be happy that you went through what you went through in order to hit that goal. Once you hit that target. And after you reach that point, you'll move on. You'll move forward. And you'll learn. I don't know what made me make this video, to be honest. I think God has been pushing me to make this sort of video for a while. At least that's what I like to hope. But I know that the message that I have for you is coming from a good source. So yeah, take it or leave it. You know, and if you're listening to this in the background, I hope that it sounds good. I need to check. I need to edit it once I get back inside. And yeah, it's good to be back. This is a different format. I'm going to experiment with a couple things on this channel. I'm not entirely sure about the format that I'm going to stick with. I'm just going to see what lands and go along with it. But yeah, ones who are subscribed, thank you very much for staying subscribed after a whole freaking year. I've lost a couple subscribers, but I've kept most of them, mainly because you've probably forgotten that I made videos. Don't worry about it, it's okay. It's normal. I don't blame you. Yeah, I hope to be a lot more consistent from here on out and just put out what I want to put out, basically, because yeah, it's now or never. Yeah, so we got to start somewhere, and I'm resetting my whole life. I've been blessed in ways that I wanted to, and I've been blessed in ways that I couldn't even imagine. So we're going to just flow with the flow and not think too much about where we're headed. Okay, like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hype it if it comes up as a feature on the channel, I'm not entirely sure. And comment what you've went through, because I want to listen. I want to hear your experiences. I want to know more about you. I want to learn about life through people who may have something to share. And maybe I can share something with you the same way I've just had on this video. So don't be afraid to comment whatever you want. We're all here to help each other. That's why we're on this planet. Okay, bye.